Hey everyone, happy Monday. I hope that you are already having a great week. The last week of January, it's hard to believe. A month has almost already gone by in 2021, and what an eventful month it has been, right? Um, so I love Cece's background here because this represents like most working and mothers and dads that we've learned to juggle. We have brand new backdrops that we've never seen before. I was watching a commercial the other day and it had a woman all dressed up in a suit up in her child's playhouse, like, tree fort, like working on her computer. And I have no doubt that COVID has forced some parents into their children's tree houses. So, Dr. Cece, welcome and thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Barb, for having me.
Absolutely. So Cece and I are here together today to invite you, each one of you, to join us at the Pediatric Boot Camp that is in February 26th and 27th at Sherman. You can join us in two different ways this year. You can be live. There aren't very many tickets left to join us live, or you can join us virtually. Whichever one fits your schedule, fits your family schedule, your work schedule. And if your mind is saying, oh, I already have something that weekend, we got you covered. We know those things happen. And so you can catch the replay for 60 days after the event, the entire thing. So that allows you to keep learning, keep growing. If you're an owner doctor, you can buy that and then watch it with your whole team. Like, that is super rad. I asked Cece to come and share with us regarding chiropractic and pregnancy. She has had two amazing births and has been witness to many, many other births and served a lot of pregnant women in her practice. And so, Cece, share with us, like, what are some of the highlights that docs will be learning at the Peds Boot Camp? And for those of you who've never come to one of my events, please know it's very interactive, meaning like the whole time a speaker is talking, please raise your hand, ask questions. Like there's nothing worse than sitting there and monkey saying, hey, but you don't know that last thing. And so we want to make sure that that never happens to anyone who participates in our events. So we invite you to speak up. So Cece, what we'll be learning from you during the Peds Boot Camp about chiropractic and pregnancy?
Well, I'm glad that you said you preluded with the interaction, because I'm hoping that my talk can be extremely interactive, get you moving, get you excited. We're going to talk a lot about mindset, and we're going to talk about pregnancy, and we're going to talk about that first adjustment. And, it's so fun because I've been thinking about this because I get to give a first adjustment to brand new babies multiple times a week. And it is amazing. But it hit me probably about Christmas or right after Christmas. And I had seen a few adult people and it was their first adjustment, in their 40s. I'm like, how have you gone this long without your first adjustment? So here I am thinking, oh my gosh, I'm now more excited that I get to give this 40-something-year-old a first adjustment than a baby. But I'm like, the adjustment is just as powerful then as it is for that new baby. And so that's kind of what I'm going to bring, is about the power of the adjustment and, maybe some science behind it. I'm going to talk probably a lot about cranial stuff and a lot about some stuff we've been learning from Dr. Rosen in his master's class. And this is Cameron. Cameron, can you say hi to everyone?
Hi, Cameron.
He didn't get a nap yesterday, so he slept very late today, and now he's very excited to see me.
That's awesome. And I think that's such a great point, and I love that you emphasize the first adjustment. So many individuals that I know that have awesome pregnancy practices, they do a great job attracting pregnant mamas, and then they disappear. I'm like, oh, we got to solve that, because it's not only mama's life then that is going to be radically changed and altered, but that baby's life too. And so that's something that we're really committed to at this Peds Boot Camp for all of you, is helping you see what's missing, not what you're doing wrong, but just what are the simple things that you're missing such that you don't have great retention after the birth. So moms coming back and getting checked, and babies coming back and getting checked. And like, word to all of you, it's not because they're too busy. Because they're still going to the store, they're still going to their pediatrician, they're still going to their postpartum care, they're still doing all of that. It's just something hasn't clicked in their mind for them to see the importance of them being checked and their baby being checked. And so we're going to solve that mystery for you. Cece, let me ask you this question got asked of me last week. Is the Peds boot camp the right place for students? Like when you were in school, if you had something like this available to you, what would that have meant?
Man, I think it's good for docs and it's good for students, but especially for students. I mean, I went to school up here in Portland in Western States, and we've got a few really great peds docs in the area, and they would come and give teaching classes. But it really wasn't until I went in 2012 I got to go to the last ACA ICA pediatric conference in Colorado, and it wasn't until I was immersed and got to meet Dr. Yoakum and got to meet all these greats and also just be influenced and listen to what they had to say about treating kids and those kind of things. It really honed into me that, oh wow, this is really what I want to do, and wow, I really got a lot to learn, because it is a whole different kind of practice when you're dealing with kids and when you're dealing with families in general. It's not just, hey, come on in, let's crack back and let's leave. Not that there's anything wrong with just adjusting people and then having ancillary studies or any other things in your practice. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it sometimes doesn't really fit when you've got a mom who doesn't know how to nurse and the baby's having issues, and the scenarios can go on and on. But having a boot camp like this, having this even live virtual for 60 days afterwards, hello people, talk about some value. You
Right.
can watch it. If something that Dr. Bergen says or something I say or something you say really hones in, you can watch that again and again. And I think that is so valuable, because even if you're there live, you can go back and, like you said, watch it with your staff.
Yeah.
Watch something home to you, and your husband maybe isn't on board with chiropractic. He's not a chiropractor like my husband. Maybe something says that you're like, hey, you need to hear this from someone else. Boom, you got it.
Right.
And it brings everything into alignment more for you as a provider and a future provider. So I think it's a great place to be as a student and as a doctor as well. So yeah, I think they're going to get a lot of value and be pumped up and excited about what we're doing.
And I think it's really for those of you who aren't in the 56-day chiropractic boot camp, you may or may not be aware that we're doing our 90-day challenge again. And we did it last year just before COVID, which was just a huge blessing. Like there were offices in the boot camp that like literally doubled, tripled, quadrupled. I heard from a boot camper the other day, she increased her income by $250,000 last year. And she was already really close before then, actually over $1 million in revenue even before then. And I say this to emphasize it's so important to remember that we're always practicing, right? So like when you're in clinic, or even if you're a low-level tri student, everything you're doing now is preparing you for when you are in practice. And I know when we're in school, it's easy to be like, oh, I'll deal with that later. Well, no, be learning now so that you get better and better and better and better. So when you start your practice, and even if you're a student, when you start in clinic, you're that much further ahead. Like I know you all have a lot of studying to do. I get it. But you're going to look back and go, what did I do with my time? Like seriously, like and to it's not just who it's who knows you. So if you're a student or a young doctor, I promise you're going to want to know me and my tribe, because we know a lot of people and we help. Like I have people reach out to me all of the time, asking for, hey, do you know someone in this area? I need a chiropractor. Or do you know someone who's looking for this? Do you know, like I spend a ton of time every week making connections. And so I promise you want to know me and you want to know my tribe. And I'm not saying that in arrogance. I'm saying that because it's really necessary for your success. It's really necessary for your growth. It's really necessary as well, so that if there comes a time that you're struggling, there's already relationships built of individuals who can step right in and track with you and help you, because we've all been there. And then when you're on top, to also be connected so that you can help other people. And you can help that young mom or that young dad who's just like losing his mind or losing her mind, and you can step in and help. So Cece, let's talk for just a minute about how amazing the boot camp was last year, just like from a relationship standpoint as well.
Man, I'm so glad you asked me this because it was kind of what I was going to say about the 90-day challenge and then the lockdowns. And hold on. Hey, can you give me a minute? Can you say hi?
Hi, Cameron.
Say hi. She's into my cereal. She's into your cereal. It's okay. It's going to be all right. Well, I mean, the biggest thing, honestly, was for me, once the 90-day, if it wasn't for the 90-day challenge, I don't think I would have continued practicing through the rest of the year. I mean, I'm in Washington. The lockdowns are crazy here. And people just got great. Luckily, most of my patients were like, please be open. Please, God, say you're going to be open. But if it wasn't for the fact that we had this 90-day challenge and that I had been going so hard for the first 90 days of the year, that when my landlord asked me to close down, I mean, I closed down for a week and it didn't hurt my practice at all because I still had that influx of income and I was grinding so hard before that it just was like, all right, I took a week and I caught up on this and I did a few home visits and I did this and, like I kind of slowed down, but I had that momentum behind me and I had that like knowing that all this work I did, all those collections are coming back in, and on top of it all, I would say, when I met you, 3 years ago and joined the boot camp, I was feeling really alone in practice. Like I felt really hurt from my first associateship. And then I felt really, just kind of like I'm going through the motions. But I knew there was something sparkly about chiropractic. And I knew that sparkly luster like brought me in. And I just felt like I let it kind of burn out. And when I got into this group of other doctors, it gave me this like, oh, well, I can do anything now because I've got these people around me that have done it. And if they don't know, they'll know somebody.
Right.
And I have that I can ask something and feel dumb, when you ask someone, but like I can put it out there and no one's like, oh, she said this wrong or you spelled that wrong or, like nobody judges you and you have a place. Everybody is your biggest cheerleader because, at the end of the day, we all represent chiropractic as chiropractors, as chiropractic students. And, that hit me home not too long ago. I posted something on Facebook and a chiropractor I went to school with, we maybe don't agree the same. And he, kind of was like, made me realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Maybe I should rephrase the way I say things because I am representing other people too, not just myself. And so, it was just kind of nice to have that check. But I would say in our boot camp, we've got people who want to love and support you no matter what, just because you're a chiropractor, which I love more than anything. Okay.
If anyone watching now or later can relate to what Cece's going through with, hey mom, I know you're doing something, but hey mom, like just drop a way to go, mama, and let's give her some boost and some love on doing like multiple roles here. Christine just said, I loved meeting Cece last year and I got the best adjustment of my life from her. Can't wait to see you next month. Christine, can't wait to see you as well. Christine opened a brand new practice in COVID and has killed it. So regardless of how long you've been in practice, you can still have the practice of your dreams, regardless of what year it is. So Christine, super excited to see you and celebrate. And Dr. Stacy just said, you got this, mama. That's happened a few times when Stacy and I have been on coaching calls. Her son, Maddie, comes in, hey, mom, like, what's going on? So here's the gist of all of this to each and every one of you. We're in this game called life and we're in it to win it together. And the more that we can come together and support one another and like living on an island too, I think what that does is it makes our focus so narrow and we don't see how much we're needed and necessary from others. Hey, there's Kristen. Hey, Kristen, welcome. Kristen just got back from an awesome vacation. So good for you. Oh, hi, baby Claire. Hi, sweetheart. I got to hold Claire a ton at Chiro Fest almost 2 years ago.
Last year there.
She's gotten so big. Hi, baby. I love that you wave to yourself too. So I will be sure and put the link below. Grab your ticket, join us live or virtually. There is when you look at that link for all of you, you can click on a PDF that's been updated by Sherman of the states that have CE approval. There is virtual CEs available depending on what your state regulations are. But most of all, join us. Regardless of where you're at in practice, I'm 1,000% confident you will learn from the PEDS Bootcamp. I'm going to be talking extensively about mommy guilt, not only mommy guilt, but daddy guilt as well, because it really, when we don't understand where that's coming from and we don't understand what it is, it's really easy to put ourselves on the sidelines and pace ourselves, which is the fastest track to burnout. So I want to show you from mind, thought, and consciousness what that looks like. I'm also going to be investing a lot of time in helping all of you really and truly, how do we grow our practices authentically in the years and the months and years coming forward, when obviously there's been a tremendous amount of censorship. So you'll want to join me because it's really important that you know what to do to positioning your practice and your message and your audience. So regardless of what happens on these social platforms, that you can still impact the life of every mama, daddy, and child in your community. So Cece and family, thank you so much for joining me today. God bless all three of you and your hubby as well. And I look forward to seeing you in a month.
Look forward to it. Mwah. Say
Bye.
bye.
Have a great day. See
See ya.